I think you have to be consistent with what you do, but I think sometimes routine can become too comfortable for people. It's just
if you have to convince them, it's not fun.
Well, it's so
either you want it or you don't.
I started the Muscle and Flow podcast because I wanted to interact more with, starting in New Orleans, people heavily involved in the fitness industry that I think are well qualified, great at what they do, that I also want to learn from. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Muscle and Flow podcast. We are at the Jungle, home of Colt Colletti, who is one of the top trainers in New Orleans. Some of his clients, he's training clients at the highest level. Alvin Kamara, Odell Beckham. Who are some of the professional clients you've trained before?
Oh man, it goes all the way back, to the early 2000s, from Joe McKnight, all the way on up to just recently Odell, I can't really think. There's so many. I can't think of all the people that have came through here since the 90s, since I've been working out here. So it's a list of people.
One of the reasons I sought out Colt, I wanted to bring him on the podcast, was because I think his style of training really fits into some of the other episodes I've talked about, where it's don't need to focus so much on like the bells and whistles, these high-end facilities, and not everything in the atmosphere needs to be perfect. I mean, if you can get a look around like where we're at, it is bare bones, nothing fancy about it, but all his clients know, like, when you come in here, you're getting ready to go to work. You want to talk a little more about, like, even though you have like high profile clients, you haven't changed your way. It's still in the garage, just getting after it.
Yeah, it all started as my own personal quest, to build my body up. I played ball at John Curtis. As a kid, I went there at 9 years old and you just start playing. And, in order to compete, because they got a lot of great athletes go through there, I could control, the working out, the effort I put in. So that's just me trial and error over the years, experimenting with what worked, what would make me stronger, more explosive. Here I am.
So when you're getting a client like Alvin Kamara, I think a lot of people, especially our New Orleans listeners who are Saints fans, we've seen that clip of him pulling that truck right out there in your driveway. Are they seeking you out? Or are you getting in contact with them? Or how's that relationship happening?
Alvin hit me up on the ground. He messaged me on the Instagram has gotten pretty much all my clients, that's how they got in touch with me. I've been training like this since the 90s before all of this. But now with social media, you can see it. Yeah, it's public. I guess you could say it can reach more people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now more than the neighborhood knows about it,
And I can tell why they came and find you. I mean, anybody who follows you on Instagram knows that you put some work in here in the jungle, man. When Colt and I were talking, trying to figure out a good time to meet, I messaged him just, I don't know, I was like, well, how's training been going? He sends me a video of him with a chain over his neck doing hurdles, and the timestamp is 3:30 a.m. I'm like, go to bed, man.
That's normal.
If you're an athlete trying to be at the top level, that's the kind of person you want to be around. We were talking a little bit earlier before we got started about environment and how the environment is a huge factor in how you're going to approach not just your training, but your sport and everything else you do. And I find if someone is consistently training in an environment that is challenging and they have to deal with things beyond their control, best example, the weather, it can be hot, it can be cold. I'm sure, how hot's it get down here? I mean,
the humidity.
We haven't worked out. I know you might be thinking we worked out, but we didn't. But that gets in your mind when you're doing that consistently. That's going to translate to other things. You learn to rise to certain occasions. Whereas if you're in an environment that's not challenging you and it's something that you never have to worry about, and you're only worried about a task given to you at hand, and it's something outside of your control does happen. Some people don't rise to the occasion, they fall. And I think the kind of what you do is probably a big reason people seek you out. because I think this differentiates you from a lot of other trainers in New Orleans. That's why I wanted to talk to you, because I think this is how most people need to go about it. If you're looking to find a part about yourself that needs something else to bring it out, that's hard, that's down there, that's hard to get out.
I mean, I live this lifestyle, so it's not only have I studied, I got, a degree and everything, but it's more than just that. Like, it's like therapy for me. So I'm still, like, when you first met, I told you my wrist been dislocated almost a year now.
Dude, that wrist.
And I'm still training up to 20 people a day sometimes, still trying to keep up my own training. It's set back, but I'm not gonna let it stop me. I've got too much time, man. This is my life. I mean, I'm like, the harder I work at this, I'm not just gonna give it away. Oh, I can stop now. No, I'm gonna keep going. I just gotta work around it.
Yeah, it's definitely the people who like do have that lifestyle. It's something where it seems like you don't have to convince anyone. It's just
if you have to convince them, it's not fun.
But it's so
either you want it or you don't.
And so you want to talk about how you messed up your wrist, and we were talking about that before we started filming.
I was in a bad car wreck, and it flipped. The truck got flipped over in the canal underwater, and I had to break through the window, crawl out under the water, and I was cut all up, arms swollen up, and it got infected, and they rushed me to the trauma center. And they let me out of there and said I'd be better in 2 weeks, and shit, 9 months later, and it was dislocated. I tore ligaments, tendons. It was fractured. I got a chipped bone floating around in there.
All messed up, man. But
yeah.
I think what speaks to you is after you had told us about how you ended up like injuring your wrist, you didn't go on to talk about how, well, I just haven't been able to do this, and this. The first thing you started telling us was what you could do. And it's like, that's the mindset people need to start to develop.
Another injury, like injuries are gonna happen. Anybody who trains long enough at a high enough level is gonna go through an injury or something. You sign up to play football, you sign up for an injury.
Yeah.
You know that. It's naive to think you're gonna go play that game or anything really and not get hurt. So that's an adversity you're gonna have to deal with. And okay, so my arm is tore. I can't do upper body like I used to, but I can still train my legs. I can still outwork around it.
Yeah, and then so talking about like we talked about the environment you have set up here at the Jungle, which that's an awesome name for this place, man. So kind of give our listeners an example of if Kamara comes to you, he's looking to get in a session, what are some of the movements you would take him through? How would you design that session? What's your approach of getting him better at what he needs to do, which is be an NFL running back?
Well, like when he first came, he hadn't worked out in, I think it was a couple months. It was right after the season. It was like early March. He kind of wanted to just start off slowly, breaking back into the weights. So we just did a simple upper body session. We did some band pull apart, some different things to get the blood flowing upper body wise, and then we did some explosive push-ups. On the wheel I do a little different, just to fire up the nervous system. Then we went to a big heavy pressing movement, the neutral grip bench press. We did a few sets of that. We did some assistance work for his shoulders, rear delts, triceps, and I finished off with an explosive movement. It was about 35, 45 minutes.
Yeah, and that's
short and intense, sweet.
I'm so glad you brought up the time frame of the workout, because a lot of what I try to like let people know, especially when they're training, it doesn't have to be this like 2-3 hour session. Like I find a lot of times people, they want the session to be a certain length and they end up just dragging it out like 3 hours.
They justify time with the quality.
Yeah, oh man, so often.
I put this much time and you don't even look like you train.
No, like you don't. If you need 3 hours to get the session in, your session's not designed correctly.
Yeah, your hormone system, your cortisol levels are rising, you're starting to go into muscle burning mode. It's like, I'm never gonna sit out there. People think I sit in here for hours and hours on it. Man, personally by myself, I'm in here 25, 30 minutes, 40 minutes at the most.
But it's
at the most. I'm rolling. I'm doing superset stuff. I'll take active recovery. I'm here.
How hard are you going during that 25, 30 minutes? It's all business. You're not checking the Instagram, not on the phone.
Not worried. The only thing I might do is change the song or whatever. that might get some time. Yeah, just to change my mood for that set. But that's it.
Yeah, and we had talked about how you definitely have a lot of high-profile clients, and then you mentioned when we were talking earlier, not only do you train them here, but you'll go up to LA. To train them like wherever they may be, I guess in their off season or where they live.
Off season, yeah.
But when you get them out of this element, do you see a change? Do they react to their environment like positively or negatively?
I think everybody does to an extent. Like, I mean, you are who you are, and I mean, that's going to be no matter what. But like, I can do my stuff is here because this is, you know, all this equipment I've collected over the years, and it's the stuff that I want. You know, to train differently, to work more muscle, train. Because everybody else, a lot of people, I don't get how some of them train. Like, they used to like bodybuilding routines or training in a gym or controlled atmosphere, like, you know, just running the mill stuff. There's no intensity, there's no cranking it up. They're just like, they might scream or something, justify that as being tough, but.
It's interesting to use the word routine because, like, I think although consistency and routine are two very, very key elements, I don't think they're necessarily the same. I think you have to be consistent with what you do, but I think sometimes routine can become too comfortable for people. And then when they have to get out of that routine, they don't, kind of how we talked about earlier, like it takes them a step back a little bit. They don't push as hard. They don't want to get out of that routine.
No, change is hard for everybody,
Yeah.
all of us. You know, it's hard for everybody, but it's necessary often. You know, you have to do it, and eventually, you know, if you keep doing the same old sets and reps, same old exercise, the same old stuff, your body's it's not gonna have a reason to change. You got to give it a reason to change.
Dude, I had this conversation with people all the time. My approach to training is similar to you. Everything, I try to get a good mix of like isolation, explosiveness, supersets, compound exercising, aerobic work, and I have people that they have their routine and they're constantly talking like, dude, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do that. I do this every Monday. I'm sitting there, I'm like, well, if you've been doing that for 2, 3, 4, however many years, and you're still not happy with where you're at, maybe you should make a change somewhere. Like,
but it's hard for them, and they may think they're changing.
They've planned it in their mind.
It's
like,
in their mind.
This is it.
It's definitely in the mind.
Do you find you've had to push change on someone? Because I imagine if someone's reached the professional level of what they do, they're clearly doing something right.
Of course.
But have you had to kind of force change upon someone who's even at that level?
I mean, I've shown them a new ways to do stuff, new things, how to, you know, you can. I'm not inventing nothing in here. Like, I'm just putting tweaks on exercises. Like, we'll change out the bar for the bench press. I mean, I can always use a straight barbell. We'll use a neutral grip. We'll go a camber bar. We'll go do different things. We'll throw a chain on there, bands. Like, there's so many variations that you could do off of one, like a squat. You could change the barbell out. There's 3, 4, 6, use countless different barbells you could use, adding chains, weight releases, different accommodating resistance, you know, different stances you can use. There's a million ways to tweak it up, and you're getting a new stimulus, but you're still getting all the muscles you're trying to work.
Yeah. And would you say you're
only limited to how creative you can get with it, how much you're willing to push it.
Yeah.
You know?
I know you do, just from what I've seen, like, you do a lot of explosive work.
Because, I mean, you got to be strong. Strength is the main thing that they all feed off of, all the other qualities.
Yeah,
but if you can't express that strength fast, it doesn't matter. Like, you're too slow with it. So you got to better transfer the strength you do have. You got to better express it quickly. So I always have explosive movements in with my strength work.
Absolutely. I think not just being explosive, one of the things I've found with especially athletes that are training for their sport, the most training is kind of north to south vertical, but most sports are going to involve like a lot of like horizontal lateral movement. And I think in training, sometimes we don't get enough of that in that horizontal lateral work. Do you do any of that work kind of with your clients? How to make sure they're moving like side to side?
My main thing is like, I don't do a whole lot of, like, I do I'll do some side lateral lunges, some different things like that, but like I use the weight room to get stronger. Like, if you want to get better at doing your sport, then you need to play your sport. Like, there's no need, we're going to get enough of this in practice.
Yes.
Like, you're not going to be a super fast guy, but yet if you got to take a step to the right, now all of a sudden you're slow. It just doesn't work that way.
That's a good point. Actually,
I'm not saying we never do that. Like, I do throw it in here and there, but a lot of, when it's always doing stop and start, that's a lot of wear and tear on your joints, and it's hard to recover from. So,
and you know they're going to be getting those reps, that
that's
volume,
what I'm
that
saying.
practice.
You use the off season to get bigger, stronger, faster for the next year. If all you're doing is out on the field, just doing
bigger, stronger, faster, and more durable for injury prevention.
This is the main thing with weights is for injury prevention.
Yeah.
Making you more durable, making your body tougher.
I'm glad you brought that. I mean, I didn't have this written down, but this is something I think about a lot, and I kind of want to dive into it now. I think where, especially at the lower levels, so we're talking like high school, maybe even, middle school athletes are starting to just be animals now with the way they train. I think
it's different, yeah.
Yeah,
they get them started younger.
It's slowly coming down, but I think what's always kind of been a problem is schools are letting sports-specific coaches also head the actual training element, like just the fitness, the strength conditioning. And I think there's kind of a disconnect there. I think now, in a very good way, these schools are starting to seek out strength and conditioning professionals saying, you handle the strength and conditioning, that's you. I'm going to do the X's and O's, whatever it may be.
It's because it is different.
And that's the relationship that needs to happen. Because I look back at my career. I never played at the professional level. I played soccer in college, but I look back and I see where the things I know now, there was a lot of things I was missing in my training and stuff. Granted, the coach was giving us stuff.
Well, you never stop learning.
Yeah, everything he was giving us on the field was good, but as far as making just what you were talking, bigger, stronger, faster, more durable, there was a lot of that left on the table in the offseason.
Right. There's no perfect program out there, and it's a lot of it is gonna be trial and error. People, they just want to. They want to do something for a month or two, or hire this person to coach them, whatever, and then they're going to be great. Look, if you're really going to be great at something, there's a reason for it. You're going to put the time in and dedicate yourself to doing the little things outside of what y'all do that you need for yourself to get better. And, I didn't just work out. My high school had one of the best weight programs you can have in high school. But I still would come in here after practice and get my own extra stuff. And on the weekends. And it was like a personal quest for me to do that. So in order for it to evolve, you gotta do it wrong, you're gonna do it right, you're gonna mess it up, you're gonna leave stuff out, add stuff in. It's just you're constantly evolving, constantly learning.
And then when not just learning on your own, but trying to learn from someone,
right?
Not just anyone, because there are gonna be people that try to give you, that are gonna try to say, do this, do that, do that. Not all opinions are equal. No. By any means.
And there's a lot of egos in this industry. Hey, I'm not saying I know it all. I do not know it all, and I have fun when I work out too. So, and that's a big part of it as well. If you love what you do, you're gonna do a good job with it. You're gonna give your best effort every time.
And we were talking about Instagram giving people this platform to get a bigger outreach. That can be good and bad, because now you might have somebody
positive and negative. Yeah.
You're gonna have somebody that might not be as qualified or not with as much experience, but they're just pushing out content, and it might not be valuable content. And if somebody's listening to it, doing it, it's kind of that double-edged sword where it goes both ways.
My thing is, I'm all for people just working out, doing something. That's better than doing nothing. Saying they're not doing nothing crazy, and putting themselves at too much risk. But I'd rather see them doing any kind of workout than just sitting on the sofa or not doing nothing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I'm never knocking somebody for working as long as they're trying.
I posted something the other day on my Instagram talking about just find something that is fun for you, that you enjoy. It could be.
Are you not going to stick with it?
It could be lifting. It could be spin class. It could be yoga. It could be dancing, boxing. If you look forward to that and it gets you, if the alternative is you doing nothing, get out and go do that.
Exactly.
If I'm bringing you into the jungle, say they come in and they hate this,
and most people
I'm kind of bummed out. But if you're going to boxing and you're just, I can't wait to get to the gym and kill it, go to the boxing gym and crush it.
Exactly.
And
because you have to, or you're not going to stick with it.
And longevity is everything.
Yeah. Well, I told you before, it ain't nothing for you to be built or in shape 2, 3, 4 years out your life. I got 25 years in a straight training now.
It's that, what was that term? Lifestyle, man.
Yeah. That's a life sentence.
2, 3, 4, 5 years, that's not a lifestyle.
No.
That's a small fragment of time.
So you were building in shape while you played high school ball? Or 2 years of the 4 years, and then after that was it. Now what about the other 50 years you're gonna live?
It's gotta be that lifestyle. And it doesn't have to be just crushing your body it doesn't have to be the number one priority in your life. But it's
right, no. It should enhance your life. It shouldn't take away from it.
Absolutely.
If it gets to the point where it's taking away from your happiness in your life, then you need to reevaluate what you're doing.
Absolutely.
I get asked, what do you eat? Do you take supplements? And I'm like, no, I don't do nothing. I try to eat, I cook my own foods and stuff. I don't eat fast food, but I don't take supplements and all that.
Hold on. Because my listeners, my members, people I coach, I don't take supplements either. Everybody always thinks that's, do people instantly go up to you and be like, what supplements do you take?
Dude, it's been going on since 1996. Since I was 14 years old.
It's
so ridiculous.
So for anybody listening that knows me and knows I talk about all the time, I didn't know this before. We had previous podcast episode, we talk about this. And I think with supplements, man, people love trying to find and being sold solutions. And the supplement industry thrives off that. They just they try to create these problems and sell you the solution. So they've created the problem of low energy before a workout. So now you got to find pre-workout. Low energy during a workout. Now you got to buy your intra-workout. Well, then you got to recover. So you get your post-workout. And then you got to get the nighttime case with 4 powders throughout the day, man.
You know, at the end of the day, man, it's going to be like, what are you doing, working hard at consistently?
That's what it all comes down to.
That's what it comes down to. Every month here, because the minute you stop working out, it's gonna go. Your muscles gonna go away. Your body don't want to hang on to it.
Every year, there's gonna be something new, something shiny out there. There's gonna be a new diet. There's gonna be a new type of it's the casein or the nighttime. But eating good quality whole foods and just training hard, that's been the staple for. I mean, you've got warriors here.
If you're gonna hard work, consistent hard work is the secret. That's the secret. Consistently working hard every day, doing something to get better. You know, because I mean, there's not gonna be change without heavy sacrifice and heavy discomfort. And that's what it takes.
One of the reasons, I started the Muscle and Flow podcast because I wanted to interact more with. Starting in New Orleans, people heavily involved in the fitness industry that I think are well qualified, great at what they do that I also want to learn from. And that's kind of why I sought you out, because your mindset, like from the brief time we talked, seemed very similar. And you want to surround yourself with like-minded people.
Sure.
And that's why I like talking to other trainers, even in other disciplines, how we talked about yoga, boxing, spin. The problems sometimes are the same. Not problems, but the conversations you have with people sometimes are the same. We talked about the lifestyle, the short-term mindsets, 1, 2, 3 years. Do you have experience with clients where they come in and they work with you and like 2 weeks go by and they're like, well, I haven't reached my goals? Like, well, yeah, it's only been 2 weeks.
10 minutes in one workout, and I've never seen them again.
And
man, there's a million ways to do things. There's more than one way to skin a cat. This is just my way. There's other ways. People get results doing all kind of stuff. But I personally, to me, it was important for my strength to, it was never about looks. It was about performance, for playing football. And now I just work out for life. For my therapy, I enjoy it. It's fun to me. Like, I want to be able to move. If I got to pick up something heavy, I can do that. If I need to jump over that fence right there, I can do that. If I need to push that car out the way, it's getting done. Like, I need to be ready for whatever. I got to carry these groceries 2 miles home from the grocery store. I got that.
Always that challenge of like, no matter how many groceries I buy, it's going to be one trip. It's going to be one trip. I'll make it happen.
I went out on a date with a girl that weighed 300 pounds and she drank too much that night. I had to carry her ass back home. From the bar, I had to throw over my shoulder, piggyback, ride it back to the car. I was ready.
These are the life skills you need.
I couldn't agree more.
And I think, now I'll maybe lose my train of thought. What we were talking about with...
But that happened to me.
Things happen, man. And that's why we work out right there.
I was prepared.
But yeah, talking about how I've had people come in, like 2 weeks go by, and like, all right, well, I haven't reached my goals. And in my mind, I'm thinking, well, yeah, it's only been 2 weeks. I think people want... In these short-term
instant
mindsets,
gratification.
Instant
this is not the thing you get that in.
No.
This is a lifetime of work.
The battle we're fighting is it's constantly being sold as instant gratification. The 6-week abs, the 6-week challenge, the boot camp, lose 10 pounds in 10 days.
The least you can do to get all these great results.
What is the least amount? That's what's being sold. Like, what is the least amount of work you can do? And then we'll give you this like flaw or illusion of a result. And that's the battle I seem to always fight. Because when people come to me, like my members, my clients, and they're interested in getting started, the conversation always starts with, this is a long-term approach. I don't want you to just be a member of mine for 6 weeks. I want to be having you as a member for 6 years, injury-free, motivated, while also have learned to develop habits for yourself.
Right. I've told a bunch of people that I've trained, you know, especially a lot of females. I'm like, you know, whether you train with me just 1 month or a year or whatever it is, like, it's not gonna be for life, and I don't even know how long I'm gonna live. You know, I'm not gonna do this forever, but I'm like, take what you can learn from me or learn from whoever and apply it to your own life. You know what I'm saying? If you take this with you. If you learn that, you work out with me. If you never work out with me again, just take the things that you've learned right here and, you know, keep on doing it by yourself, or you train with another trainer, or you keep active. You know what I'm saying?
And developing the habits and learning the habits is the number one thing to take away from the process. And I use this analogy a lot. There's a reason people who have won the lottery have gone broke relatively quickly right after, because they got this result like instantly, but they didn't have a process, so they didn't learn the habits of what it takes to maintain that. And it'd be the same with fitness. If I had a magic wand and I could just go up to people and be like, poof, like say your goal was to lose like 40 pounds, like you lose 40 pounds, you lose 40 pounds. They're probably gonna put it on pretty quick because they don't know what it's like to take it off. And I try not to sell people the result. I try to sell people the process.
It is. I mean, because you're gonna spend more time trying to get the result than you are, you know, actually having the result. Like I've been this size. Actually, I'm small. I'm about the size I was in high school right now, like 206, because I dropped like 12, 15 pounds from this injury. Because, you know, I can't train my upper body. So I've been, since 17, I've been sitting at about this size, and I'm 37 now. So this is my norm. Like,
if you would think somebody like, I've been doing this for 20-some years, people are going to expect like the Incredible Hulk to walk in. It's
you know, and I rarely step on a scale or nothing like that. It's not even about that. It's just, I've enjoyed the workouts I've done, the people that I've done them with, like the athletes, the non-athletes, whoever it is, you know, over. I mean, you'd have to search the world. I don't think you could find somebody even close to my age that has got more training in themselves and training other people as well. Because, I mean, I've trained, man, it was last spring or, I think we counted in like March, in like 30 days. I had over 70 workouts in that I was involved in. Now, they wasn't all killer, but like I was working out. I had a morning workout with a couple of NFL guys, and then I had a couple more hit me up in the evening. And when I'm in the workout, pushing them, it's a lot better than me standing in the back there and just telling them what to do. Like when seeing it inspires them and takes it up another level even more.
Absolutely. And like, so, I mean, we've talked about how important that process is for a person as they're training to get their goals. Well, the process is also heavily involved for like us as coaches learning as well. Like when not everyone's different.
Everybody's different.
Single person trainer is going to move differently.
Right.
They're going to have different lifestyles outside. They could have kids. They could not have kids. They could be older, younger, disabilities in certain areas. And we have to learn.
Adapt.
And then when we learn, if we see someone with a similar kind of setback, modify that as well. And I think one of the things that impressed me about you, that I'll be honest, I didn't know till we were talking about it before, was, I mean, you said you've trained people for the Special Olympics. You've trained, I mean, you
cancer patients, obesity surgery, I mean, the elderly, high school, college, pro athletes.
And I think that's awesome, because if someone...
a wider variety you get. I had a homeless guy that used to run with me when I would go to the playground. And he lived by the bathroom. He would lay down there, and he'd get up, and he'd remember me, and he'd run a few, and he'd go lay down again, he'd run some stress with me. For all the way up to the guy with the $100 million deal and everybody in between.
That's how you grow as a trainer as well, the same way as you grow as an athlete. Having that broad scope of people you train, you learn from, and then keep bringing that, because you never know who's going to be the person that contacts you next. You never know what it's going to be.
One incident away from your whole life turning completely around.
As far as someone with a very unique, maybe like setback or disability or something you may have to modify around. I don't want to say like difficult, because I don't want to use that word, but just a unique. What do you think is one of the most unique clients you've had as far as really figuring out what is going to work best for them?
I trained a lady. It was about a 40-year-old lady. She was under chemo treatment for cancer, and that was probably one of my toughest challenges to find, because she was coming straight from, she's taking chemo at the time while I'm training her. She's still under the treatment.
Oh, wow.
So she's nauseous, sick, dizzy, out here in this Louisiana heat. You know, this is not a.
I mean,
there's no machines. Yeah, this is not a controlled environment. This is. So I really had to get creative and scale things back and figure out her needs. You know, I took her to the levee, and you know, we didn't do any sprints or anything of that, but we did some. I walked through it. I did every rep with her, and that made me grow as a trainer because now I really had. Even though I consider myself, you know, innovative and think outside the box. Like, I really had to step it up because now I have to break it down to the simplest form. And she had a lot of other injuries, you know, like physical injuries, besides having cancer and going through chemo treatment at the time. So that was very challenging.
Yeah, that's impressive. It speaks to you as a trainer being able to do that because there's a lot of trainers that wouldn't have done a good job there. Because I think, at least in our industry, and you may agree or disagree, but I think one of the biggest things I see being done incorrectly are people get very set and like, this is my way. And then they're completely against change. Like they don't.
Because change is hard, man.
And then if it doesn't fit the system, they're like, all right, go find someone else.
Right.
And even just fitness in general, the approach, like we're learning new things on how the body operates, how much stress can be put on it.
And everybody's different.
And
what's too much for one may not be enough for another.
Exactly. And I think getting like closed-minded is probably one of the most frustrating things for me to see other coaches do.
No, I agree. I think, you know, you have to be open-minded. And not just in work, in life. Because, I mean, it's just so much is going to be thrown at you. You have to better adapt.
Yeah.
Man, I learned that when I went to college. Because I was at, Curtis my whole life, so I'm used to that environment, that atmosphere, and then everything is just different. So you have to learn how to adapt. I'm like, wait a minute, we don't have, all these certain luxuries and certain things that we had, and it's just you have to learn either that or it's either sink or swim.
Sink or swim, man. And
I think this injury, I was training up to 17 people a day with just my wrist dangling. I was training guys for the NFL draft. Like I was spotting with my crook of my arm, like waking up at 4 a.m. and like that was a task. Man, I was in some pain all day, dropping things, but I had no choice. Like, this is how, I don't have no set income. I got whatever I hustle is what I make.
Yeah.
And so it's either, okay, if I don't go out and do nothing, I'm going to starve, or I just got to fight through it.
And that element is what pushes you to be the best you can be. Because if you just fall behind and you quit growing, you quit learning, you quit trying to be better, well, there's someone else that's doing that.
Oh, no matter how hard you work, there's
someone working hard.
Hungrier, that maybe didn't get the opportunity that you got, or is still waiting on it, or didn't get that big break yet, but they're out there. There's a lot of people out there.
And the jungle, man, this place is cool looking around. But I gotta ask you, what are your neighbors? Do you have any complaints about? There's guy.
But now
I'm getting here. I'm driving up. The first time I've been here. Well, this is a nice neighborhood. I'm looking around, and then Siri's telling me your destination is on your left, and I'm like, I know these houses around here can't be happy with him slamming shit.
Man,
and it's sleds banging around everywhere.
It's hilarious. Some of the people, like around the holidays, man, like Thanksgiving and Christmas, people that don't live back here, don't know me or whatever.
I imagine like the people around are just like, that's Colt doing this thing again.
Dude, they're like, and it stands out. I'm out the shirt out. It doesn't matter if it's 1,000 degrees or if it's below zero. That's how I'm comfortable and everything because I'm always overheated. So I'm like, the people be stopping, they think, hey, did the car break down? You pushing it? I'm like, nah, but I'm training. And, there's the older people that just give you these crazy looks, or they'll be pissed off because you're in the street taking up some space and they gotta go. I get it; they got shit to do, stuff to do, places to be. But I'm training, and they know about that business since the '90s.
Like we were talking about earlier, we know like that's something you can't control. It's not going to be the make or breaker. If this is what I have to get done, this isn't going to be the deciding factor whether that gets done or not, because that's something I can't control. But it didn't happen over one day, but through years of training in this style, you've learned to it doesn't even factor anymore. It's like, all right, it's cold. I
don't have to think about it. I'm not going to let the weather stop me from doing what I want to do. Yeah. People say they want it, and they talk about how bad. They can talk about it all they want. They like to talk about it, but it's not who they are. It's not what they're about. It's not what they live.
Likes to talk about it.
Oh, my God. Everybody tells me, how about how they work out?
Oh,
And I'm like, oh, cool.
one of the things
I don't even want to talk working out. Honestly.
One of the things I tell everyone wants to be a badass until they see what badasses have to do day to day. Everyone wants to be a champ until they see what champions do every day. And then once they see how hard the little clip.
In that moment, they're inspired and they're all about it. But then when that moment is left the next day or a week later, whatever it is, so has all that stuff they talk, oh, I want it, I do this, I do that, is all
the montage video with the guy in the locker room, headphones in. That's the easy part, man. What are you doing when the headphones come off? That's where we find out who you are. What are you doing when the headphones come off? When I'm up
like the video I sent you at 3 a.m, I'm doing box jumps with a chain, you know what I'm saying?
Just trying to get to know him a little bit because I knew we were shooting a podcast. So I was like, yeah, man, that's training me going. Sends me a video, timestamp 3 a.m, jumping over hurdles with a chain on his neck. I was like, all right, I guess training's going pretty well.
I mean, I'm been insomniac like pretty much my whole life. So I've struggled to sleep. Like my mind will race and stuff. And now with the injury made it worse. But so I'm like, there was nothing for me to come home. If I went out when I was younger in college or whatever, and I got home at 4 a.m, 3 a.m, I'll come. Like one time I came in here, right from leaving Bourbon Street. And I had 315 on the bench, and I sat in here until I did 315. I did 10 sets of 10.
I'm just going to jump in and say I am not approving that aspect of the message of coming right in from Bourbon Street, throwing 315 on. But one thing I wanted to talk about was, because we both have experience, you have a little more experience training elite level athletes, but we both have experience training what I would call like general population, so like non-professional athletes. And I find with training general population, sometimes you have to find that element of like motivation. You have to push them a little.
Oh yeah.
Because
it's harder.
Yeah, it's
to train like the higher talented guy, the top athletes. To me, the greater the person you bring, the better I can get them. And the greater I can make them. Because now when I have to go and convince somebody to do some stuff, they aren't really into it. They're not excited about it. They're not motivated for it. They don't really care.
And then it's another element to your job of not just preparing the session as far as like the actual physical activity you'll be doing, but now there's this element of like getting them motivated. And then on the other end, when you're dealing with someone, say like an Odell or a Kamara, even any professional athlete, they have this ability. Someone who's gotten to that level probably has this ability to kind of shut their mind and body and like create this disconnect. And now it almost becomes your job as a coach to like slow down sometimes and be like, now you might be overdoing it a little bit.
I mean, I've seen just so many scenarios. Like I've seen guys that don't even work out, great athletes. They just show up and make it happen.
Those are the.
And then I see guys. Man, I see guys that really they put in some effort, man. Like they really killing it, but their physique or their strength level won't reflect it. Yeah. You would not even really know that they really work out hard. I mean, I know some people that they really train hard and consistently for years. Yet you look at them, they're not really built, they're not strong. They just hadn't got the results, but yet their effort has been there. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I applaud them on that. I mean, hey, like that's the hard part, showing up every day. And then you're not getting that result at the end. That outcome is not what you want it to be, but yet you're still giving the same effort like it was on day one, and you still think you're gonna achieve it. It hasn't slacked off. But that's impressive to me.
You're still.
You're not attached to the outcome. Like you're still busting. You're working as hard as you want. Day one, 10 years later, you're still working hard like that.
And that's because they bought into the process. They didn't buy into the result.
Yeah, their happiness don't depend on the end result.
That seems to be the make or break when things start to get hard. If people stay with it or not. Are you in it for the process or are you in it for the result?
Right.
And that's that make or break.
The process is what's going to take the longest. Is what you're going to live. Your whole life is a process. You know what I mean? You gotta, if you don't enjoy it, you're going to hate your whole life. And I know because I have hated it at times, and I'm like, damn, you got to learn to love the struggle and learn to make that. That you're going to be a better person when you come out at the end of it.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. In some way, you're prepared for it, and it's going to make you better father, better brother, better trainer, better doctor, lawyer, a better man, whatever it is, female, whatever it is you are.
It's not necessarily how you're approaching like fitness or lifting. It's just how are you approaching a task, a goal you set for yourself. how are you going about it? Are you going about it half-assed? Are you going about it all out? Like, if you're just going to kind of sort of give an effort, you're going to kind of sort of get those results as well.
And I mean, it's, you know, if it's a representation of you and who you are, you're going to put, you know, all your effort into it. Like, I'm not even worried about, you know, if I'm the strongest around or if I'm the best in shape around the build or whatever. Like, I don't even care. Like, if somebody comes in here and outdoes me or whatever and everything, like, they're just that much better than me.
It's going to be because they're better.
It's not because, it ain't because they did something, they didn't work when I didn't work or, you know, they outworked me. That wasn't the case. Like, it's never been, like, I'll be happy if I do my best. You know what I'm saying? If my best effort is there, it don't matter if I come in here and they bring in 20 guys and they're all in it, like everybody else trained is like 10 to 50 years younger than me in the NFL, you know, and they're in their prime. And, you know, I'm hurt now and I'm back, but I'll still get in there and mix it up with them, and they forget how old I am and everything.
So how old are you?
37.
Damn, man.
And I've been training since 9 years old consistently.
Like,
barbell, I started out with body weight movements, running up the levee, you know, sprints, pushing the cars in the neighborhood, and it just evolves as you get older, you know.
I mean, I know, me being in New Orleans, I deal with a lot of New Orleans Saints fans and everything. Everybody's kind of seen that video that went Kamara pushing that car or pulling the car.
And you know what?
Was that right?
We all had fun. Yeah.
Was that right there in the driveway? Right.
That was right over there, man. The Jeep was actually for another NFL player. That was Malachi Dupree's Jeep, and it was 4 of us doing it. You know, we went all the way to the red light and back, and then we went and run some levee sprints after that, and had an awesome time, and got in great shape, had fun, and all the above.
And I think, like, kind of how we were talking about earlier, like, definitely your mindset, your approach, the dedication is why athletes at the elite level seek you out. Like you said, he sent you a message. You weren't just blowing him up.
I didn't even really know who he was. Like, I just heard of him. Like,
I mean, we constantly see
Michael Thomas hit me up on there too. Like, everybody, you know, I don't even know. Yeah, you know, I'm still learning. Like, I can't even remember.
It's the same reason why I sought you out and wanted to bring you on.
Like, I don't even remember how we started talking. I'm like trying to think.
Because what I want to do with this podcast is bring in trainers of all different disciplines or people involved in the fitness industry who are good at what they do, dedicated at what they do, and there's a reason why they do it. And you were talking about, like, it's your lifestyle. You couldn't imagine doing anything else.
No, I mean, this wrist injury could have gave me this is the perfect opportunity to quit and be like, you know what?
And no one would have blamed you. Nobody would have said anything.
No, but I'm like, you know what? That's just not me.
But you wouldn't have been able to look yourself in the mirror.
No, I still hate what I see right now. I'm like furious with myself, but I noticed I gotta work around.
And I think the reason these guys or ladies are seeking you out are because you're not jumping onto some like fad. You're not trying to get on a bandwagon of this new thing. You're not promising this result XYZ, whatever it may be. You're like, this is.
Well, they're not coming for the facility. Like, there's not no flat screens in here and nice bathroom, catered meals. Like, they're coming for me.
Yeah,
I mean, because I live it.
This is what I do. It makes me physically stronger. It makes me mentally stronger. And no matter what you do, whether it's doctor, lawyer, NFL running back, if you're getting physically, mentally stronger and bettering yourself, like, that's going to translate to all the elements of your life.
Oh, definitely. Like, I can tell a lot about a person in the one workout. Not even the whole time, really. Right from the beginning, I can tell all I need to know about that
body
person.
language when they start.
Everything. From the energy, from how they reacting to stuff, the environment, how it is. Like, because I'll kick it off. I'll be the one to go first. I'll throw the weight on. I'll just do the damn thing, and, you know, I don't even think about it. Like,
the mind and body, the way you're mentally going into it is going to play a huge part in how you physically perform. So if you're coming in with already negative thoughts, it's not going to be a good training session. And most people can't just flip that switch. Like, you have to be mentally getting ready before that first rep or before the warm up.
You can't. It's experience. You can't, you can take all the certifications, courses, and all the PowerPoint presentation coaching clinics in America. You know, you can go backslapping handshake with the best in the world. That's fine, you know. But the real learning takes place under the bar, time in here, doing it with yourself, with your clients, you know, learning trial and error. Like, you can have all this stuff on paper, it looks great.
Yeah.
But in the real world application, it's a lot different.
And like I said, that's definitely one of the reasons, or one of many reasons I wanted to bring you on, just because your approach, mindset, dedication, obviously heavily influence a lot of people. You have a lot of people that follow you, keep up with you, that seek you out to come into the jungle, get better at whatever they're training for. Glad I got you to be on the Muscle and Flow podcast.
Oh, yeah, appreciate it, man.
It's not
Thank
the
you,
last
man.
time.
No, man. Actually, if I'd have been a little more prepared, we could have got to work. We'll get a workout in next time, you know.
Oh, dude, I'm down, man.
And not come out to your spot and get a workout.
Yeah. Tell so if anybody listening here, if they want to find you on Instagram, Twitter, whatever it may be, where can they find you at?
All I have is Instagram. Just put in my name, Colt Colletti, and it'll come up.
Cool. Is it Colt_Colletti, right? It's Colt_Colletti.
No, I think it's. Dude, I'm gonna have to look. I think it's Colt Colletti, and then it'll come up.
Yeah, go follow Colt. Go follow Colt on Instagram. You'll definitely be impressed by some of the videos he puts out, the amount of work he puts in, and also the time that he's doing it. It's very early in the morning. It's very late at night. Could be hot. Could be cold. Nothing's gonna stop him. But yeah, if you're looking for some good content, give him a follow. If you're looking to follow me, you can find me at Phil_Gilliott, PHIL_GUILLOT. Put out a lot of content on nutrition, training, all the updates with the Muscle and Flow podcast, all the updates with Muscle and Flow Fitness. You can also find those at muscleandflowfitness.com. I want to thank Colt again for letting us come into the jungle.
Thank you, man. Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
And yeah, like I said, seeking out, I'm looking for some very, very good qualified trainers, people involved in the fitness industry in New Orleans, not just even fitness, wellness, whether it be nutrition. Love to find more guests on the podcast. If you think you'd like to be on, you have some information you'd like to share with listeners, please send me a message and we'll set up a time, try to get you on, let you get your message out there. So thanks everybody for listening. And watching. This is going to be our first video. So definitely go check this one out on YouTube. You can find the Muscle and Flow Fitness podcast on iTunes, Spotify, and now YouTube. Thank y'all again for listening. Catch you next time.